freedom technique is a simple tapping on some of the acupuncture spots to release emotional stress and sometimes physical symptoms. So it's acupuncture without needles, in essence. About 6 years ago, one of my daughters is a child psychologist. She called, her printer wasn't working. She had downloaded a free 87-page manual on something called EFT, and she knew I was moderating discussion groups and prayer groups for 45 years at that time. And she thought I'd find it interesting. And I did. I downloaded it, and I put it to use for myself, which is very simple, and I'll show you guys today. Besides explaining it, I'll ask you to go along with me. Seem a little silly, tapping on something to your face, whatever, hoping to get something out of it, all right? But you will actually experience something wonderful. It's taken the world by storm in many ways. There are now thousands of EFT practitioners across the country, let alone all around the world. I handed out 4 pages of the flyer for you to take home. I will tell you, the first page has got all of the tapping spots, so you don't have to take notes or anything. And it's very simple, right? And you'll learn it, and you'll be able to use it after you leave here in an hour, right? But you don't have to take notes. All of that is here on, on the 2 sheets. I'm going to draw your attention to the second page, the handout, just to give you an idea of some of the power. I had a class on intuition at a shop called Angels Among Us in Tinley Park a few years ago. And 1 hour into it, we're taking a break, and the one lady turns to the other 16 women there and says, you guys ought to come to this guy for EFT. And I said, oh, somebody told you about me, huh? She said, no, that was me. And she proceeded to tell the story. I said, oh, you got to put that in writing. What it was months ago, Sisters of St. Francis had a holistic fair, and we rented a booth, and I had a sign behind the table that says, EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, $10 for 10 minutes, success guaranteed. Well, in her email, you can read this later, she sent the email, it's about a half a year later. In that 10 minutes, she said 2 minutes, but in that 10 minutes, 22 years of colitis evaporated. She knew before she left the Sisters of St. Francis Auditorium that she didn't need her meds anymore. And she says that in here. And a year later, she sent her second email. And we actually associate with her in some places now. She's had home parties where she can't tell enough people about that. And what happens is, I knew where to guide her when she told me what was going on physically in her body. And you don't have to look now. On that page, that second sheet, the second side of that is a list of the mind-body connections that I've seen in the 45, now going, it's 1961, I got out of service. And the first discussion group was turned with a teen group in St. Sylvester's Parish. That turned into a prayer group. Right? But way back then, I started seeing these mind-body emotional connections. And that's partly what we're going to address today also. To start out, I'm going to ask you just to experience it with me. All right? The secret's in the focusing. I'm going to ask you to come up with a memory of something that bothers you. Everybody's got something that really irritates me. And if nothing else, pick the other political party. But find something that when you think about it, it's got you a little bit. Right? And that's the thing I'm going to ask you to focus on. And then pay attention right now in your mind. And look at your body. How strong is that feeling about that person who doesn't turn on the turn signals, or the person that goes through the stop sign, or the political party, whatever it is? Pay attention. Focus on something very specific, and pay attention to your body. How strong is that feeling? Maybe like put a number on it from 0 to 10. Like 10 is the worst. If you stood up, you would be really feeling the anger or whatever. Maybe somebody says you know all the time, and if you're English teachers, it bothers you. Good. And then keep that in mind as we go through the example, so if you would. There's two parts of this, what's called EFT. The first part is to make sure you're balanced psychologically. With the psychological reversal, it takes longer. And to make sure you're balanced, we have you saying something positive and tapping on what's called a karate chop, the soft spot if you're going to break a board. All right? And before the hour is over, I will show you a real shortcut. You can put this use in a 15 or 20-second application in the moment. You have to fire somebody and you're feeling anxious, in your job position. We'll give you a 15, 20-second application, which is easy to do. So, okay, so to handle the psychological reversal, we're going to have you tapping here, and this is universally. If you would all say this out loud, after this, you don't have to say anything out loud about your thoughts or memory or whatever. But if you would just tap here very gently and say, even though I have this anger, fear, whatever it is, this frustration, I totally and deeply love, forgive, and accept myself. I'm okay. So the next one, if you would say this out loud with me, even though I have this, whatever's got this anger, I totally and deeply love, forgive, and accept myself.
Love, forgive, and accept myself.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
So the next one, just think of that memory, focus on the person's face or whatever it is, top of your head, very gently. That's where the needles would go in acupuncture. How many have had acupuncture here? All right, then you know they got put in 30 needles. Okay, next one's the start of the eyebrows. I suggest use two fingers. You have a tendency to go too high, but right at the start of the eyebrows on either side of the nose. So just very gently. Think of that person, think of that incident. The next one's on the side of the eye, right on that skull bone, right on the side of the eye. It's very forgiving. Either hand, both hands, either side, very forgiving.
On the temple area or
on the side, right on the bone, on the skull bone, right on the side. Yeah, just forward of the temple. There we go. Yeah. Next one's under the eye, right on top of that skull bone again, under the eye. Very gently. Stay with the focus on that person, the thing you get angry about. Under your nose, very gently. Under your lower lip. Then the next one's called the collarbone, but it's picture a man's tie is tied up here. Come down just a little bit and have your hand partially cupped or open. You're a couple inches below the real collarbone, just a couple inches below. And once again, very forgiving. I see someone with two hands. That works. One hand. And we'll only do two others. There's about 20 spots total. Under the arms, right above the brow line for you women. And the last one is going to be on the open wrist. You can do it like this. There's a number of other things like movement of the eyes, it's called the 9 gamut, etc. But let's stop right there with that. We're going to do a little bit more, but take a look at that same thing you were upset about before. Pay attention. How does it feel in your body now?
Relax.
She doesn't feel it anymore. Someone said relax.
Yeah.
If you focused, it eased. If it did not ease, all it is a sign to me as a practitioner that your mind was jumping. When I have a private session, I normally charge $100 for first session, $75 for follow-ups. I guarantee success or no charge. It's that good. Now, if you came to me for a private session and it didn't ease, I would be telling you right away, as a sign your mind was jumping, tell me what that memory was. And I'd have you stop at a part of it. So like you're watching a movie and you hit the pause button on some part of it, tightens you up. From my experience with this, and for myself, if you would think about it, when somebody said something or did something that upset you, it really got you in a number of different ways. It has a hook in you when you think of the words they said. But then when you remember their look on their face, that has a hook in you, different than the words. And then when you think of that tone they used with the words, that has a different hook. And then how they turned away and like you were nothing or something, that has a different hook. Each part of that 4-second, 5-second painful memory has a different hook in you. And that's where EFT works beautifully, when you focus on the words, the look on their face or something, and the gentle tapping. So a couple others. Put a number on it, and what is the number now? What was it and what is it as far as your feeling about that anger or whatever it was? Sir?
I would say it was an 8 the first time, and then the second time was
8 to 3. That's more than a 50% reduction in the physical, emotional discomfort. That's beautiful. Look what you did for yourself in a couple minutes here. Anyone else want to? What was it? What is it? Yes.
Yeah, mine was like a 10.
Yeah.
And that was about a 2.
And then she's laughing as she says it was a 10.
10. It
That's
was
wonderful.
a 10. It was a 12, but yeah.
Yeah. So from 12 or 20, what did it go down
Yeah,
to?
to 2.
To 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a sign some part of it still has a hook.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask everybody to do it again in a moment. So for all of you, and listen to what I'm telling her. So that's a sign some part of it still has a hook. Look at it like you've seen a movie, hit
Yeah.
the pause button, and your body will tighten up someplace. Ooh,
Right.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. Yes, please.
This is a recurring situation
Uh-huh.
for me. So, it started out as a 10, and I think it's down to a 5. But when I have to experience this every week, is some of this tapping going to be able to help that?
Yes.
But while you're doing it, because while you're doing it, you have to be like this. It's the enhanced pat down at the airport.
Okay. Call me on this. Make sure I handle that, your overall question there.
Mhm.
There's a couple of different aspects of your question. Since it's a reoccurring event, it's going to, the situation could come up again, etc. There's also something called the law of attraction, that people will say and do things to match what we're used to feeling. This is one thing I don't have in the notes, but I'll strongly suggest that you pick up the DVD. It's in the library system or at Borders, called What the Bleep Do We Know? The scientists are telling us that every emotion is triggered by a thought, and the scientists are proving that when we have that emotion, peptides attach in neurons or vice versa, or whatever, our system is so used to feeling that, you'll hear the words from the scientific community. There's animation in that movie about this, documentary, about how it works. They're proving that we are addicted to our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll think of something over and over because our system is so used to it. Just like somebody's addicted to nicotine or caffeine, coffee, etc., where you got to have some. It's because your system is aching to feel that again until you break that cycle. Part of that documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? The quantum physicists are proving at a quantum level we're all connected. We're all connected on an energy level. Yes?
You can get that on YouTube. There was a documentary about Palos Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And on YouTube also, which is free. Then,
Can you say it again?
Say it again.
What the bleep do we know?
What the bleep do we know?
Yeah. The book on that movie, the scientists sitting around said, what would we call this movie? And they were saying they were discovering something that's so weird, like Alice in Wonderland, go down the rabbit hole. And one scientist popped up with, what the do we know? And they said, well, you can't call it that. And the other said, yeah, we call it, put a bleep in there. But that's it. The second version of that movie is 3 DVDs, double-sided, and you hear the scientists talk all, through 6 DVDs, equivalent. That's called what the bleep dash down the rabbit hole. It's a crazy world. So let's stay with that memory that you worked on. Let's help you do more for yourself right now. Get rid of some emotional stuff. So stay with the same memory, and if you would, even though, and even if it's gone down to zero, tap along. And even though I still have a little bit left, if you would, out loud. Even though I still have a little bit left, when I think of that situation, I'm learning to totally and deeply love, forgive, and accept myself.
Love, forgive, and accept myself.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Okay, count the head. Stay with that movie. Look at it like you're watching a movie. Hit the pause button. Look at their face. Look at the tone. Start of the eyebrows. And the outside of the eye. Stay with the movie. Under the eye. Very gently. Under the nose. Under the lower lip. Come down to the collarbone. And this one, even though I'm videoing this, so I can send this to England to be accredited. There's about half a dozen people in the U.S. accredited to an international association. A lot of people in England doing this. I'm not supposed to teach the real shortcut that we do teach. Saying peace, love, and joy or something handles it. I totally, deeply love and accept myself. Bring your hand to the collarbone. Come down about 2 inches. Start massaging, tapping slowly. Pretend people are watching you, you're in a meeting. You don't want them to know you're doing a process. Just tap a little bit, massage, like you're thinking. Now focus on that memory. Focus on the anger. Just stay right there on it. Massage a little bit, tap. Maybe voice to that person in your mind. When I picture you doing this, I feel, and voice what you thought you felt to that person. This is going to help you get it down all the way down. Pretend you're able to voice and tell them, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling angry. Stay with the focus. The next step I'm going to have you do with that situation, if it was like a one-on-one with someone, no logic, go along with me. It's going to sound weird. Go along with me. Find your coulda, woulda, shoulda. Find your feeling, thought, whatever. At the time that discomfort started, you came up with something in your mind like, I shouldn't have been here, I should never have been born, I should never have married him, I should never have looked at him, should never have been, should never even thought about him. Something. Find your coulda, woulda, shoulda, and tap it away. I joke around in the classes like, it's almost as if we're all raised Catholic like I was, or we were raised by a Jewish mama. We're all guilty. Maybe even say in your mind to yourself, shame on me, my fault, whatever. Just anything at all. You want to get the emotion down about your feeling at fault or responsible. You don't need that. You don't need to carry forward. And now, try to say to the individual that you saw, whoever it was, I forgive you. And see if there's some resistance. Forgiveness is simple. It's totally easy. As long as you think back, there's no sting in the memory. So just for this one event, not for all the many times it happened, all right? Just this one event, see if you can forgive that person, whoever you pictured doing it. Bring your hand up and say, I forgive you. See if you can comfortably forgive. Just for that one event. How many here found it hard to forgive in that one time? Okay. And for me, I'll tell you, so if we were in a private session, I'll tell you, all that is a sign, watch that movie, some part of it got a hook. Some parts still got you. So review it. Don't jump to other times. Stay with that one time. The domino effect works. Something happened hundreds of times. The way we do it, we show these extra steps. We help you get it down to 0, and I guarantee results or no charge, right? We get it down to 0. It could happen hundreds of times. We get you down to 0 on 2 or 3 memories. All the rest of them, there's nothing there. You can actually shrug your shoulders about even horrific problems, all right? Okay. So the next step, if you would, that idea of forgiving somebody, if it was a little hard, all it is a sign, is a good test, is a sign some part of the memory's got a hook. So you go back, look at the memory, find what part, tap it down. But then another good test, but it's got positive value in itself. Go back to picturing whatever event it was that you were looking at, and change the movie. If you remember, when that really happened, it bothered you. You felt something emotional. Now, sitting here, remembering it, you felt it again. But even though that's just a movie, right? But it was a movie in your mind. When you saw it, you felt it again. If you had just made that up, you could feel that same discomfort. Change it. Go back in that situation and make up a little movie where you feel loved, where you feel wonderful. Have them looking at you and maybe bringing a stranger. The key is for you to feel warm, loved, comfortable, peaceful. What is it you don't want to say?
A lot.
Yeah. We had lunch. We had lunch with a friend. She was coughing for 2 days, and at the end of lunch, it was Emilio's tapas, and it was all cleared out. We were the only table left there around 2:33 in the afternoon in that break, and so she knows she's experienced EFT with it. So I said, all right, let's work on the cough. And who is it that you couldn't voice what you were feeling? And there were 2 people, 2 medical professionals that she had just dealt with 3 days ago. And for 2 days she's coughing, and she tapped like that. This guy that you hear, she tapped about what she wanted to say. She voiced it to us, what she really wanted to say to them, etc. And all the cough was gone. That evening, we got an email from her, something about this. Wasn't that terrific? And I thought she meant our luncheon together, you know, and enjoyed the time, Linda and I and our friend. And she replied back, no, I mean, I'm not coughing, you know. So, give us some feedback for each other. Did anybody here have that 0 to 10 when you thought of it go worse? All right. So, it got worse?
I couldn't even think about that I'm in love because that bad one was sitting in my head.
Okay. Well, and then this is why I say we use that as a test. When you can't think of the love or feeling the love, you know, picturing somebody looking at you with love in their eyes and you feeling it, all that is for that memory, the one that you were focused on, chances you were seeing a lot rather than one, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have to help you look at one, just one, and find the parts of it that still got a part to tap that down.
Well, I was thinking about the voice before, like somebody was talking to me and it was going away, this voice actually. Somebody was moving the mouth but with no voice anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was what was in my head.
So when you shoot out some numbers, 0 to 10, what was it and what is it? Just a little feedback.
9, and now about 3.
9 to 3. Okay, 60% decrease in emotional pain, yeah. And, somebody? Yeah.
10 and 7.
10 to 7? Okay, great for a few minutes that you eased it, but once again, then all it is a sign that some part of that still got to find the part that does it or you belong. And, yes?
6 to 1.
6 to 1, big drop. Yeah. Any zeros?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
10 to 0.
10 to 0, isn't it? Yeah. Congratulations. Isn't that wonderful what you just did for yourself? she followed instructions of focusing. EFT works. It's just so fantastic. That's why I can guarantee success with no charge. As long as in an individual session, I help you focus. You know, by telling me the story half a sentence at a time. Don't. Where were you? That's it. Stop right there. Yeah, this type of thing, and then it works beautifully. Yeah. So you focus very well.
Well, the fascinating thing to me will be this is a recurrent thing.
Okay.
You know, the situation will keep repeating, so I'm very anxious to find out whether I have changed or whether I have changed the whole process again.
Okay, came up a couple times then, reoccurring thing. We're going to change the flavor here for a little bit. Yes.
Doesn't it matter what you're thinking of? I mean, I was thinking of something that was very personal and very hurtful. If I was thinking about someone that cut me off in traffic and, you know, it pissed me off, I could very easily go through this and be able to let it go. But something that's very personal, isn't that harder?
No. I've had situations with rape victims. One session. As a matter of fact, one of them, I happened to call last week. It was about a year ago, and I asked her, you know, we haven't talked, you know, how you revenge. Oh, no, nothing. It's all beautiful. One session, gone.
Okay.
This idea of the psychological reversal we said before, we made sure you're balanced. I'd like to show you something on this. What part of that movie, What the Bleep Do We Know? They highlight a book. Japanese scientists started experimenting, taking pictures of water crystals smaller than the eye could see. This is a picture of an ice crystal when they froze some water, smaller than the eye could see, with a microscope and videoing. I'm going to go very quickly because of time, which can squeeze a lot in here. Here are 3 pictures from 3 different sources of water. The one is from a pristine pond, and then the Thames flowing through London, and the Seine flowing through Paris. And you can see the difference. You would say, well, polluted, you know, so that's why the ice crystals are sort of yucky. Smaller than the eye could see, all right? Now here, though, here was 2 petri dishes from the same batch. They froze 32 petri dishes at the same time, yay around, you know, yay high, etc. Same distilled water poured into 32 of them. Now here's 2 of them. They exposed one of them to 7 seconds of classical music, the vibration of classical music, and 7 seconds on this one was exposed to 7 seconds of what?
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal. Heavy metal, she got it. The vibration. You've all been in a situation where you had the radio on or the TV on, and you change the channel, hit the button, and you probably didn't pay attention, but it didn't feel good. The voice, the tone, the words, the subject, it didn't resonate with you. It didn't feel good. The vibration. And that's what he experienced with the different water. Now, bear with me, because this starts to get weird. All right? Just like tapping on your face helps you get rid of emotional pain. Now, that's weird, right? You're weird, lady. How can you get rid of emotional pain by tapping on your face? Well, here, another batch of 32. Here are 5 pictures from a batch of 32 petri dishes of water, same distilled water. The difference is there was a label. Now hear this. There was a label on the side of the petri dish. This label, one label here said, do it, and the other said, let's do it. Look at the difference in the crystal one is camaraderie, cooperation, and the other one, the command. Same batch, right? We're talking about 32 of them. Here are 5 pictures. These 2 here had a label on the side, one in English, one in Japanese, that said, you fool. The other one had a label that in Japanese that said, thank you. They brought them all into the freezing room, a small, like a closet, 5 below 0 was the temperature in the room, 32 microscopes, 32 video cameras. Now, I'm going to go quickly.
You want to tell them why? The intention?
It's the intention in there, yeah. Okay. Real quick. This is the same water, 15 minutes apart. The small picture, they took some scummy water from an industrial area in Japan, and they froze it. Here's the first crystal, it was ice crystal. Then they thawed this, and for the people who don't believe in God and stuff, bear with me, they thawed this, they offered a prayer for the water, froze it again, and take a look at that crystal. 15 minutes apart, or some few minutes apart, they thawed the ice, offered a prayer, froze it, and look at the ice crystal.
Now, this is, I want to make sure I understand. This is a group of people looking at this.
No, this is taking the water in there in a room that's got 32 video cameras and 32 microscopes attached, to it.
Okay, so there's no feelings involved with it.
Would you do me a favor? Would you mind coming up?
Maybe
Maybe
she didn't hear you.
No, that's right. I need another volunteer. We can spend just a few minutes on something. There's one. What's your first name?
Jerry.
Jerry. Let's talk about that. Would you stand over here and do?
Monica.
Monica and Jerry. Would you tell them thanks for being here?
Thank you for being here.
How many of you experience what's called muscle testing, applied kinesiology? Okay, and naturopath use, etc. Kinesiology is a study of the movement of the muscles. Applied kinesiology, AK, is putting that to use. All right. Now, if you would this arm here, if you would hold the arm just like that, and this becomes your tester muscle. If I push down, you resist. Okay. So please resist, and that's the tester muscle. Now, up here is the trapezoid or whatever it is. It's a different muscle if you have your arm out. So once again, just resist. Please hold. Now, sometimes just stay, look, watch the crowd, whatever. Sometimes things happen that we're not aware of. Sounds silly, but watch. Please hold. What I did behind you is I did something. I went like this, actually reverse. Now, please hold. And this is what I did behind you. Please hold. And I'm not pushing near as hard on their arms. And the muscles just go weak. You guys, wave them up. Just wave energy up. Okay? Please hold. Now, I'm pushing. Okay? I'm going to hold your arm, please. Please hold. I'm going to show you because... Now, all of you, wave them down. Just one time. Just go like this to them. Okay, hold on. You've all had situations where you stumbled, there was nothing there to stumble on. You were off. It's called psychological reversal. You've had situations where you knew you should have made that phone call and you put it off, fix yourself a cup of tea first, and then you found out you're 2 minutes late. I knew I should have. You were off. It's called psychological reversal. But your body also shows it. Your muscles show it. Your muscles go weak.
So there's no peace about what we said.
You say no people involved.
Going up is positive energy, and going down in the water. Oh, it's the intention going into the writing. It's universally understood. No matter what language.
And they're talking about like energy that connects all of us, that connects the earth, that connects water. I think that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Our thoughts create energy.
I understand that, but I don't understand how if there's no people there, you just breathing and thought.
I know.
When somebody puts it in a breathing or something?
No.
I
I know. It's energy somehow. And ways that we don't, that's what the scientist says. What the flip do we know? There's energy moving around that we don't understand that's affecting us. Yeah.
And our bodies are 70-some% water.
Yeah, 70%. Yeah.
So what are we doing to ourselves and others with our thoughts?
Yeah. I want to show you something else, if you would. We're called in, like South Suburban College, the Teachers Conference, a couple of different times. Oak Lawn Community High School, we've been in the teachers' in-service days, etc., showing the teachers this. I want you to do something else. Wave them up, please. Okay? Please, hold again. Okay, wave them down just once. Okay. Look them up. Don't, just one time. Look at their feet and look up to their eyes. Now please hold your arms. Look at this. And firm. You just weakened them a minute ago. Now, look them down. Look at their eyes and look down to their feet. Just look at them. Okay? Please hold. And I'm not pressing near as hard. The muscle just go weak. You had situations. You walked in a room and you felt uncomfortable. You picked up something, you were off. All right? Something else. Would you wave them up, get them balanced first? Okay, please? Okay, yeah, thank you. Now, open this, please. Look at that. There's one sentence. Read it to her in your mind, not out loud. And then read it to her. And then please hold. Okay, who else had one here? You did? Yeah, would you open that and read that to them in your mind, not out loud? Okay, please hold. What do you tell them in your mind?
You are wonderful.
You are wonderful. You are wonderful. Please hold. Please. Okay, what did you say?
You are a fool.
You are a fool. Now, but here's the other part. Hold your arm up, please. Okay? Please hold. Now, tell them again, you are a fool.
You are a fool.
When she said the negative, it also threw her off.
No good.
When we think of negative about somebody, what a fool. It throws you off. No matter how bad somebody else is. Think of that other political party. And when you are thinking negative, it throws you off. So, all of you, wave them up, please. Okay, now, wave them down and in your mind, call them fools. Yeah. Okay, please hold. And all of a sudden it didn't work.
Oh, what did you tell her then?
Yeah. Again, the magic word. Abracadabra. Tell them what you did.
Peace, love, and joy.
Oh, okay.
Peace, love, and joy. And you just say something balanced, positive. Jesus, Buddha, whoever you speak to. Love, peace. It balances you. And that's also good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You give them a For EFT, that balances you so it works faster. So here's that shortcut I was telling you about. It's going to be peace, love, and joy. And bring your hand up here. Simple as that. We got a few more minutes yet. Physical. Yeah. Back, shoulder. Who's got some pains? Okay, what do you got? Come on. Who else? Where's your pain?
My hips.
Hips? Okay, come on up, please. Yeah. Who else? Come on. Yeah. Back.
Low back.
Lower back, come on. Who else? You're going to wish you did. Where's your pain? Lower back, okay. So if you would stand next to her for lower back, just in case. Okay? Now, this mind-body connection sheet, and you have the sheet there, okay, for later on. What I'm finding very much, lower back, every time, something related to payment. How long ago did you the pain start? How long ago did it start? 2 weeks, okay.
2 months.
2 months? Okay, so 2 months to 2 weeks. 2 months, I'm going to ask her, go back before the 2 months. 3 months, 4 months, something making a payment and you were a little worried about it. Some payment that you were worried about. You don't have to say what it is, just in your mind. And is it right in the middle or right or back, or right or left?
No, in the middle.
In the middle, okay, yeah. So quite often in the middle, it's more like paying for that tuition, paying for the rent, or whatever. What was? You don't tell me out loud. You got it. You know what it was that you were a little worried about? Yeah.
Sort of.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So for you, left to right or
In the middle.
in the middle, same thing. Then go back before a couple of weeks. What was it? You don't say anything about it. There was some payment you were worried about. And one time we had 45 people at Soda World here, and it was a family, a couple and their son. The son's 42. They're wealthy. I know that. I mean, really wealthy. 6 months with lower back, and it didn't seem to work. So I said to him, it could even be, you know, it's wealthy. There's no payments he was worried about. And I said, it could even be somebody cheated you out of $20 and it just wasn't fair. And he got it. And it was on his mind. It was bugging him. And he started tapping on his own, and the next thing you know, he's standing up and he's going like this and saying, "This is weird." But it was gone. It was gone. So same for you now. A picture of that, and start tapping. Peace, love, and joy. And right here. And so where's yours? Shoulder? Left shoulder? How long?
About 9 months.
About 9 months. Go back 10 months, a year or something. Who was the female that was a birth? They don't say it out loud. You know, mom, a daughter, a friend, a teacher, or you, Lois.
Not Lois.
No. Find who was the burden. Somebody was something you couldn't get your stuff done because you had to. Your daughter or the niece, the clerk. Think. Yeah. Hips. How long?
About 2 years.
2 years. And which one started?
The right.
The right side. Making a decision about a male, related to a male, getting into a relationship or out of a relationship, taking that job, the boss, the person, and telling the son, tough love, you got to get the job. You got to, some making a decision related to a male. Figure it out. Same thing. And right side? Yeah. Peace, love, and joy. Peace, love, and joy. So all of peace, love, and joy, and tap a little bit. Yeah. Did you find it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you notice at first it wasn't, but you found it. This left shoulder, a female was a bird. Right shoulder, male. I'm surprised this size crowd. Nobody had a pain in the back behind the wing bone. Come on. No.
Me too.
You too? Yeah.
I have lots of pain.
Yeah. Where? Which one? Where's that? Right?
Right side.
Right
yeah.
side.
Yeah. Right shoulder.
Yeah, right shoulder.
Left shoulder.
Oh, turn around, please. Okay. Right shoulder. So every time, I guarantee success or no charge. So I can't play around with it. You know, I got an hour with somebody. It's got to be good, right? As a bird. Down here, the pain behind the swing bone, anger. Yeah. Oh yeah. She's. Oh yeah. So picture his face. Huh? Love is female related. So female. Yeah.
And how about lower back?
Lower back is always worried about a payment. It's of some sort. Yes, worried about. Yeah, and it doesn't mean you didn't have the money. It was angst about it, thinking about it, anxiety, fear, worry. Is that check going to come? Yeah, you know, that type of thing.
If it's on one side or the other of the lower back?
And I'm finding if it's lower back and over to the right, it's related to a male.
But it's still...
It's still that payment. Yeah,
Payment.
had to pay his tuition. Oh yeah, we're passing around the sign-up sheets here. We have an email newsletter. There's 2 clipboards. Who's got the second clipboard? Oh, here. So if you would, and then pass them around. Yes.
I was going to say, for the females,
Oh yeah.
if
Here,
it's a
here,
pain on the left shoulder, sometimes it's yourself. You can't get it all done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the class, we had 16 people at South Suburban College, and 2 of the women was left shoulder, and they just couldn't find somebody. And so Linda reminded them, as she did now, it could be themselves. And both of them, yes, they're upset that they didn't get the diet, everything that they're trying to get done, and they were creating a burden for themselves. So, okay, so your lower back.
Much better.
Much better. What was it? 0 to 10. What numbers were it, and what is it?
Okay, 8, 0.
8.
0.
Wanna hear this? Make sure you're getting this.
Unbelievable. 0.
Lower back. And while I'm talking to you for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, what was it?
8.
8, and it's now?
0.
You guys know each
And I didn't
You
do
were
it.
just standing here. Hurting.
I didn't do it. I didn't tap on her. All right? She said peace, love, and joy. She's balanced, and she started tapping. You have that power. You have that power. And then right side.
Oh, on the wing bowl? A little bit better. I gotta
It was
work
better,
on
it's still there. Think about him in peace, love, and joy.
This is a male?
Yeah, male. Peace, love, and joy. Okay, what do you got?
I got this, so it's not going, but I think that's me.
It is
I
you?
don't know if
Okay.
the other female.
Okay. So, say out loud to me.
Good for you.
Maybe it's me.
Maybe too.
I'm such a burden to myself.
I'm such a burden.
I gotta get so much done.
I get excited.
Yeah, I have to get so much
I
done.
have to get so much done.
I can't get it all done.
I get it all done.
I want to get it all done.
I want to get it.
Yeah, I have so much to do. I'm a burden. I got so much to do. Okay, wait.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Just go on. And we don't know each other.
Good. Thank you, guys. Let's focus. You guys, thank you. Let's focus on her. What do you got? You find her? Look at you. You know what it is? Yeah. Just a minute ago, for all of us, so a minute ago, there's nobody, but then, yeah, she knows, all of a sudden she knows there's something in there. It's your higher selves. Before every class, before every individual session, and I don't preach per se, all right, but it's food for thought. I give it to what I call the Holy Spirit, or your higher consciousness, your better self, the universe, Jesus, Buddha, whoever, it doesn't matter. But you will be guided. If your intention, Linda in the classes usually brings up the intention. And if your intention is healing, you'll be guided to it. So stay with that person. Yeah. Peace, love, and joy. Make sure you're down. Picture that the words, the tone, or something could do because of her. Yeah. Did you do that before?
I could, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Would you mind continue on your own? What's your first name?
Pat.
Pat. Continue on your own. A little bit. Picture. Once again, for all of you, peace, love, and joy in here. All right. So, the channel material, food for thought. Okay. Don't shoot the messenger. Food for thought. Channel material. When they can hear the spirits or the angels on the other side, some of the information they say is that when we pray for someone, the person doing the praying actually has more spiritual and emotional benefit than the one who prayed for. Right. Yeah. Because it's an act of love. You're doing something wonderful. So all of you guys, picture her well. And maybe tap a little bit, peace, love, and joy, tap on the collarbone for her. And you can sit down, Pat, tell us when her prayer works.
Thank you.
And what was yours again?
Here and my back. lower
Okay.
back.
And over hips.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're more right, so let's focus on just for a moment. What is it? Where is it?
It's probably a 2,
From?
but it was a 10.
It was a 10, it's down to a 2. Okay, so stay with it just for a moment. Right there, peace, love, and joy. Picture that making a decision, telling him, really, or wanting him, or doing something to or from him. Stay with it. Okay. Both hips, but it started on the right.
Started on the right.
So, do you find the person you were thinking about?
No, I did not.
Okay, was there any decision way back before the pain started? Now, sometimes also, I'm finding when I guide in a session, I guide somebody, hips, whatever, and it's years ago. So watch. This is, the spirit works. Was there some decision years ago?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So picture that anxiety that you felt then. Okay, peace, love, and joy. Or wave yourself off or whatever. Once again, simple as acupuncture without needles. So how's it feel when you remember that now?
It's feeling much better.
Stay with it. Please hold it. Yes, no. Is it down to 0? No. Is it 1, 2, 4, 5? No. 3? No. 1, 2? Okay. Space, time, work, anxiety, so, how's it feel now? It feels great. I'm over it. If it's still there a little bit, all it is a sign for me that some part of the memory of that emotion, the fear, the worry, the angst, whatever, is still there. That's it. Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So,
I feel better.
feel better?
Yeah, I think
And
it's like
usually, I feel better means there's still
So I
something
would
there.
say someone.
Okay. Because of time, if you don't
Yeah.
mind. Yeah. It's a 1. I'm sorry to leave her with a 1. Thank you. I want to continue on. Question. Anything else? Yes.
What about the left hip, like the sciatica pain?
Yeah, left hip. If it's the sciatica in the back, that's still worried close to money. If it's the hip type thing, is making that decision based on the left side. It's always, just like you just witnessed them, always something to do with
Like a headache.
a headache. Could be from a number of places. EFT works tremendously for things like relieving a headache. Just by peace, love, and joy doing this quite often. But then it's like taking an aspirin. Right? And then tomorrow morning take an aspirin again, and the next day take an aspirin. So what's been going on? What worry, what fear? Find that. And get rid of the stuff that caused it.
And how about the middle of the back? Middle of the back.
Hold on. Say it again.
Middle of the back.
Where in the middle of the back?
Right this side.
Yeah. Would you mind?
Pardon?
Did you have it, pain?
Well, no, but once in a while I do.
Yeah, okay. Come on. No, we get it. Hurry up. You're going to take us out at 2 or 3 continue? Tell Lois thank you.
Thank you.
Whereabouts is it?
Can we take him?
Okay. I'm going to make this a teaching moment also. If you would, middle of the back, and it's a little bit to the left. Okay? So in here, behind the wing bone would be anger. A little bit to the left. Okay, just turn around just for a moment. Let me explain something first, an example. On our website, there's an email from a lady that emails from 1 month after the session we had with her son. Let me go back before that. She attended a class at South Suburban College, and then about a year later, I get an email. My son's got a problem with the back. I saw you do some stuff in front of the class with back, etc. So yes, we went to Solid World. We had a session, 1 hour. Okay. He's got a 13-month pain similar to her. That's what triggered it. It's in the lower. It's in the middle of the back and a little bit to the left though. And so I said to him, they want to operate, and on the way there, they couldn't hit a bump or excruciating pain. He has to have the operation, etc. I said to him, who was the female that betrayed you? Where do you get stabbed in the back? He and his mom both knew right away. An hour later, the pain was gone. The email from her a month later says she was waiting to make sure that when they left, the pain was gone, right? He's coming back. They're waiting for him. He's surfing in the Atlantic Ocean in Charleston, South Carolina. The pain was not only gone, stayed gone, right? Betrayal. So who betrayed you? Way back. You don't say, don't say it out loud. You think about where you felt, it's the emotion. Remember? Where you felt betrayed by someone? Okay? Yeah. And peace, love, and joy, make sure you balance. Here, you bring your hand up here. Right in there. In here, massage. Yeah. Okay. You guys pray for her. Do yourself a favor. Okay. So picture that person. Picture the event or how you knew and you heard about it. Picture of you hear what I'm telling her, you know what to do for yourself. Be self-enjoy and here as you focus on some part of that memory that might still have to fight. You said you didn't have it when you came up with it? No. So if it seems to come back later on, it's because you still got the emotional hook and part of that memory. Good. Thank you. Anthony's here as our guest also. He's experienced EFT. You want to take a minute? You mind?
Yeah, sure. My name's Anthony Feeder. I actually been seeking alternative wellness for probably about 9 years now. I've been a caregiver for my dad for about 7. I have, I guess, a history of going to doctors and being prescribed drugs, and I kind of been trying to steer away from that. So I've been looking for alternative methods to not only with the mental problems, but with physical things too. And I ran into Tom's been years now. I've known Tom for years, and yeah, I've had a lot of, because I not only, I'm a caregiver for my dad, but I work in the mental health field, and so I do a group today, I actually do 2 groups today, but that's why I got to go. But the EFT thing is the miracles that you've seen here. It's totally real. I wouldn't come here, I mean, it's already been a busy day, but I have 2 other jobs to go to, but this is a real privilege to come here and just to hang with Tom and watch what he does, and you know, to see that, you know, this is really being accredited. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Miracola is a big fan of this. Dr. Miracola will be on the Oz show today, and he's a big, you know, he's a proponent. This is a medical doctor who does alternative practices because the reason is because it works, you know. And that's the stuff you've seen here today. There's no actors here. There's nobody was set up for this, you know. When I came and I saw it with applied kinesiology and all that, I thought, oh, come on, you know, what do you mean, the water and all this stuff? It's all real, you know. It's all true, and you know, seeing is believing. So I've been really blessed by knowing Tom and Linda, and a lot of great details. They got DVDs, books, you know, whatever. They even probably have stuff that I don't have now because they're constantly growing too. But he's a great guy. He's blessed me a lot.
Yeah, thank you. That's why he's here to tell me how you have a great guy. The secret's in the focusing. I'm finding, just like Karen said, she doesn't mind my username, in that letter, the 2 emails she sent, that was a couple of minutes, and that was it. She could focus very well. Her dad was 91 years old. He, I think, he said, years ago, yeah, 4 years ago. But his dad was alive then. She saw him a couple times a week. Great relationship, but there was one memory, just one memory that, when she was young, that stuck. Another thing on our website, a young lady learns EFT from me, and she's a speech pathologist in the Chicago school system. And she goes to the different schools. Well, one of the psychologists, social workers in one of the schools stuttered all of her life. She said, I don't want you using that for the kids who stutter in my school unless you show me. So Jane called Tom, would you help? You know, sure. So we went together. We get there, and they're talking. Now, they know each other because Jane's at the school every week, you know, whatever. And the school psychologist starts telling her, well, I found another doctor, we're going to try something holistic. And of course, you know, what is it? You know, 3 doctors in a row. This is on the emails from her, from Jane, etc. 3 doctors in a row, 3 different X-rays, 15 to 18 inches of the colon has to come out. She's going to wear the bag. She's going to have the operation. She's going to have the bag. 3 doctors, you know, second opinion and third opinion. That's a given, all right? An hour later, actually, hour and a half later, the stutter was gone. And this is their emails on our website. The stutter was gone, but also was the pain. For her, it was a real nice lady, black lady, psychologist. The memory was a fantastic relationship with Dad. Her age 16, he becomes bedridden ill and stays in bed, bedridden ill, can't get out of bed until her age 21. All the traveling is gone. Her teen years and the great times with Dad, everything is gone. For 5 years, she's coming home from school, taking care of the limbs, the bed linens, and make sure he's got his meds. And deep sadness, deep sorrow for Dad and for herself too, I'm sure. But it was gone. In her emails, she's another one. That evening, she knew she didn't need the meds anymore. She had 2 meds for the problems going on intestinal and 1 for the side effects of the 2 meds. So three different prescriptions. She knew that evening she was done. In an email she tells us. Mind-body connection, emotional connection. For yourself, it's very strong. Be open. Be open to maybe something works other than taking a pill. I'm not medical, and I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. That's the bit. Follow your heart. Yes.
I had a right hip replacement, it's no pain.
Yeah. Quite often. I can't guarantee that when you actually do something physically to the body, put a thing in there, change.
What is the right hip?
Right hips, making a decision related to a male. Right hip and knee related to a male, taking that job, getting divorced, getting married, anxiety, emotion about a decision related to a man or male energy. Left hip's female. Yeah. So go back. Yeah. Anyway, that school psychologist, she called months later, she was going to handle intake. First time in her career, she's late 50s, 20-some years as a school psychologist. She's never handled intake. She stuttered all the time. So she calls later, she's going to handle intake. 500 incoming freshmen and their parents, first time in her career, all right? She wanted another fear of public speaking type session. So when I get there, she said, you can stop calling me and ask me. I kept saying, you got to go to the doctor. You got to, I didn't have disclaimers, etc. I kept calling her once in a while. Are you sure? Sure, your page's gone, but maybe you should. I knew it at the time. See, maybe you should check yourself. Maybe give me go to the doctor. When I get there about the fear of public speaking, she said, you can stop calling me. She said, I went to the doctor. I said, what was it? They took an X-ray and there's nothing. 3 X-rays in a row, 15, 18 phone has to come out. The next X-ray months later is nothing. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a lot of arthritis in my hand, in the knuckles. This says hand purpose next to it.
That one I'm not as sure of, that connection. Is finding your purpose in life, not sure of in life and what you're doing, finding the purpose of what you're doing. See, and if you get into the quiet, go into your meditation with your spirit, with your guide, all right? Ask for guidance, and something will come up. Angst about something, and can't get your hands on it. I don't have that one as much. People that come to the prayer groups or in discussion groups and talk about my hands ache and also have an operation, like they did with this other stuff. Yes, anything else? Okay. I'd like to do one more quick thing, just minutes again. When you think of the word grief, we can grieve over a loved one, a parent, child, spouse or somebody, a relative, a friend. We could grieve also about a business that went under, it still bugs you, it still got you. A pet that died, a relationship that you never did stay with, and you shouldn't have said something, and now it's over when you were in college, whatever, and you always wondered if he or she would have been right for you. That grieving is where you think about it and it still aches. So, if you would, picture something that you might be grieving about. A person. All right? Rate it in your mind. How strong? 0 to 10. How strong is it feeling when you think about that person or that job, whatever it was, the company, that spouse, whatever else? Rate it, just get a feel. Does it get worse, whatever. When I ask you, come up with the first thing that comes to mind before the loss that you wish you didn't do the way you did it. You wish it didn't unfold the way it did. You wish you didn't say, you should have said, I should have visited, I should have taken them, I should have. Find your shoulda, woulda, coulda. Peace, love, and joy, and come up to the collarbone. logic, but even say things like, shame on me, I could have, I should have. Stay focused on it. Stay focused on what it is that you wish didn't turn out the way it did before the loss. Voice what you felt at that time to that person, or about the loss of its job or business. Voice what you felt. Now think about that coulda, woulda, shoulda, and apologize to the person. Tell them what you feel now. I shouldn't have. I wish I had. Speak to them. And then stay in the quiet and listen to what you might think is your own mind speaking, but listen to what you might hear back from that person, from the pet, whatever it is. Pay attention. You will hear something. And make it a dialogue. Speak again. Ask if they have something else to say to you. Tell them what else you're thinking. And then tell them some of the things you're thankful for. Come up with some good memories prior to the loss. The room when you're ready. Now look at that loss. Pay attention in your body now. What number? Did it get worse? Stay the same? Did it get better? Would somebody volunteer? First, and show of hands if it got worse. Nobody? Did it get better? Yeah, thanks. Stay the same? I wish I could take time, just one-on-one, and just a few minutes. I'm not asking for a session. I don't mean that. But just one-on-one. But if you follow the pattern we just showed you, find the take. It's a little thought nagging at you. I could have, I should have, wonder if I could have. On our website, there's 20-some stories, and no logic in them, a lot of them also. Just whatever the nagging thought that could have, would have, should have. I'm finding that every time that's there, and that's where the grieving is. And once you tack down the emotion attached to that, you'll start remembering the good times. Who heard something? You don't have to share what you heard. Yeah. Now the hand went up, the smile. Yeah, good. And for all of you, I don't mean to slight you, but if all it was just one person heard, it was well worth the hour. One person felt it. Yeah, thanks. Good. Any other questions? Yes, please.
You have two websites here. What's the difference? There are two websites listed here.
Oh, I see. I borrowed that off the internet from somebody else's website. Now, mine is on there or on the other pages. EFT-Tom.com is our website. EFT-Tom.com. On that first page, the front and back two pictures, the best that I found that I'd like to use for something like this. And in the EFT world, we gladly share. On our website, there's the 7 steps to assure success that we just took you through finding your feeling of guilt, stuff like this. And that's something we developed, Linda and I, and we share it. We tell people, other EFT practitioners use it, no charge. But that's the whole EFT world. It really is a caring deal. They all want to be helpful. So she brought up a good question. That's good. What the clipboard going around? Who's got the clipboard? Who hasn't signed? Anybody? Everyone else is on it? Yeah. Thank you. We have that newsletter. It's a a couple other quick things. We have a newsletter. It's a quick unsubscribe if you don't like it. We put some information. We do have some videos and stuff available. The manual, which is no longer available online, it used to be, so we printed out 87 pages. We printed out 3 whole punch, put it in the binder, etc. Suggest a $10 donation. If you write a check, it's Church of Love and Peace, deductible. There's DVDs on grief, DVDs on digestive problems, with that same procedure that I guarantee success in the individual session, and just $10 for a DVD once again. And if somebody's hurting financially, by the way, really hurting, don't worry about it, take one. But we appreciate a donation, $10 each. And then 2 of those books, Scott Cohen. Do some Bible roulette. Pick it up and look at it, see if it speaks to you. So some of you might want it, $6 each. The last thing, one second. For what you experience here, we're providers of CEUs, certified providers of CEUs for massage therapists and reflexologists and massage therapists. We can get 2 CEUs for this? No? Okay. Yes?
Do you have an office?
I office in a number of places, and on the back of 2 of those pages, Solid World, and then 3020 North Kimball, Lane City, also up north, and then, but I rent office space as needed.
And you do sessions at home.
And, by the way, some of the most successful sessions are on the phone. We get right to it, and it's just over the phone. As you can see, if you guys were on the phone and I was talking, you could have done the same thing. Under your collarbone, on the side of your eye, same thing. I guiding, for you to focus. So I would appreciate it if you know somebody suffering colitis, I'm going to jump, breast issues, you're rushed right into oncology, you're rushed right into surgery, breast issues, lumps happen to have gone. If you know somebody and it works over the phone, gladly help them and tell them not to worry about it if they don't have money. Just the idea that this works. All right. Good. That's it. Lois, let's get married.